inside Guest League Stadium in our Champs Sports Network coverage of high school football across the WPIAL. Not only our high school football game of the week, but our inaugural game of coverage of Pittsburgh Central Catholic football here in 2014. Joined alongside Mike Asti, I'm Matt Fargo, and here we are, high school football in 2014 this summer. Seems like every year, Mike, the summer goes 10 times faster, and we're here already for high school football.
Yeah, I'm excited for high school football, but unfortunately it does kind of mean the end of summer, so you have that negative, but kicking off another memorable high school football season already.
And Pittsburgh Central Catholic is coming off of a very memorable season from a year ago, WPIAL champions, and just a win shy of the state title. They made it all the way to Hershey, falling short, but now they have a group, a very core group, key cogs returning from that team. They have some players that they're going to need to replace. Going to be a very interesting year for the Vikings of Central Catholic this year.
Central's always a championship contender. Who better to start the championship campaign for Central as the defending champion than us here at the Champions Network. But Central, again, is going to fight for a championship. They have a veteran team. They do have to replace a quarterback, J.J. Constantino, now in Florida State, another defending champion. So Central still knows the blueprint. They have a coach who's been there a while. They've won championships with this group intact, and they feel like they can do it all over again.
For Pittsburgh Central Catholic, though, when you talk about them, you can't not talk about their defense, and that's really what led them to a WPIAL championship from a year ago, slowing down Woodland Hills like they were able to. What do you see from this year's defense? What do you expect from this year's defense as opposed to last year's?
Well, last year's defense was it was a physical defense. It was really one of those defenses, they're not going to allow many passing yards. They're going to bang you with the secondary. It's going to be similar this year, but maybe even a bigger line, maybe even better against the run. This might be an improved Central team. It's weird to say for a defending Quad A champion, but maybe more of a passing game this year, maybe spreading it out, opening up the playbook on offense, and defensively, maybe even getting more key stops.
It's going to be interesting to see, no doubt about it. On the other side of the field, they're going to take on the Bethel Park Blackhawks this evening, and the Blackhawks return Levi Matheny, quarterback for the Blackhawks, and he did not get to finish the year with Bethel Park. He was injured in their final game where they fell short to North Allegheny, but now he's returning, and a lot of people say he's a Division I recruit. They really like this kid.
Yeah, unlike Central, they have continuity at the quarterback position. They have a signal caller who knows this offense, doesn't have to learn anything. It's not just from training camp in the summer and what he was able to be taught, but it's through having the trenches of last season. They're also a veteran team, and Bethel Park's one of those teams that always can be a sleeper. They can kind of surprise a few. They can get some upsets. They're going to be a contender. Central feels they can beat anybody, and they should win every game. But this is going to be an interesting test in week one against Bethel Park.
Well, strap in because the 2014 WPIAL high school season, the ride is about to begin here from Guest League Stadium on the campus of Carnegie Mellon University. When we come back, kickoff, Pittsburgh Central Catholic and the Blackhawks from Bethel Park right here on the Champs Sports Network. Carnegie Mellon University in Pittsburgh's Oakland. Welcome to Champs Sports Network's coverage of 2014 Pittsburgh Central Catholic Viking football and our continuing coverage of the WPIAL. Hi everybody, I'm Matt Fargo, joined alongside Mike Asti. Welcome to our coverage as we kick off the 100th anniversary of WPIAL. Since the WPIAL had a championship, it's 100 years. That's ironic. Pittsburgh Central Catholic won it 100 years ago, and now they have a chance at another one as Pittsburgh Central Catholic comes into tonight to take on the Bethel Park Blackhawks, Mike.
Well, you have a defending champion coming off the 100-year anniversary, so who better than Pittsburgh Central Catholic, a team that is returning a lot of starters from last season, a team that will look similar to what was a Quad A WPIAL champion. They do have a new quarterback, but still a veteran group, a head coach that's been there a while, knows the system, and they have one goal in mind, and that is a championship. Bethel Park in their path here in week one.
Bethel Park coming off a 6-4 campaign. They lost to the North Allegheny Tigers in the WPIAL quarterfinals right here on the Champ Sports Network, ironically enough.
It's all about the network.
It was our first inaugural television game on cable on Pittsburgh CW last year. And now, ironically enough, the next week we did Pittsburgh Central Catholic. So two of the teams that we had on television last year get to start our coverage. We'll be covering Central Catholic all season long. And, of course, this is also our high school football game of the week, our 8th year of high school football game of the week. Started back in 2007, and now we're in 2014. And here we go. The 2014 WPIAL high school football season is about to be underway from Guest League Stadium. It's the Blackhawks and the Vikings here on the Champ Sports Network. A high end-over-end boot will be fielded by John Patrician from the 4. Across the 5, 10, 15. Got a wall to the far side, 25. And pushes away a 30, 35, 40. And knocked out of bounds at the 46, 7-yard line. It will be John Patrician, Pittsburgh Central Catholic's self-named Johnny Football on the return, and it will be the Central Catholic offense. And Mike, you talked about some of the similarities of the team from a season ago, but also there are some differences in it. Those of them that they are is the offense of Pittsburgh Central Catholic. You have a new quarterback and you have a new tailback, most notable.
Yeah, and as good as they were last year, arguably could even be better this season. More open playbook, more explosive, maybe more throwing and passing than they had last year with J.J. Constantino.
Gunnar Ferrant, the new quarterback for Pittsburgh Central Catholic. His first snap is a dive play right up the middle. And I believe that's
Brian Totten, the ball.
Brian Totten, that's the starting fullback for Pittsburgh Central Catholic. The starting offense for the Vikings of Central Catholic across the line. Richie Ryan, 58.
Second and 7
Mike Zigmund, Eric McAllister, the center. C.J. Thorpe, Brandon Quinn across the line. We'll get you the skill players in a second. As Farrat will turn around and hand it off the left side. They gave it off to running back Grant Foster, and he got popped in the backfield on the stop for Bethel Park. 32, Alexander Minton, and we talked a lot about him last year and making big plays. A loss of one of the play. It'll be 3rd down, 8, and 8 coming up from the 49-yard line.
And Central not as one-dimensional as they were a season ago. They can throw, and they might try to go for it and be more explosive in late 3rd down and maybe an early 4th down, but could not have more of a balled-up defensive play that time, really killing Central early.
Shotgun for Farrat. The sidecar to his right. Twin receivers here to the near side. Ball sits on the far side hash. Back to pass. Farrat will step and let it fly down the far sideline. And there was some miscommunication as it was intended for John Patrician. Incomplete as Patrician was cutting inside of the numbers. The ball ended up outside of the numbers. Incomplete. And Bethel Park forces a Pittsburgh Central Catholic 3-and-out after starting with good field position.
Yeah, they almost had the kickoff return to start their season, but Bethel Park's defense comes to play, gets Central to punt. A play there that was a deep bomb, yet a miscommunication. It is week 1, running the opposite side of the route, maybe looking for a flag there. You did see Farrat try to argue with the referee, but nothing doing.
Mitch Magsura on to attempt his first punt, gets it inside the 20-yard line, and great special teams play. Graham Adamitis comes in and slices his way down, knocking down to the turf Spencer Hayes, who was on the return for Bethel Park. And what a great story about it, Graham Adamitis. He was the quarterback of this team his sophomore year, served as a backup and a tight end / receiver last year to J.J. Constantino, and now he's going to be consistent at tight end and see some time defensively. He's just one of those utility guys where he says, you know, put me where you need to put me, coach. I'm going to go out there and make plays.
He's a team player. He's one of those guys you want on your team. He's so versatile, can do so many things, and he has a tight end body. When he was quarterback, he was almost oversized for the position, but has the muscular build. He can get those hands together. He really can be a security blanket for Farrat at QB.
So here's the first look at the chain gang in 2014 as he'll go up against Levi Matheny. Matheny wears 11. He's 6'1", the junior. We'll hand it off on a fullback dive play as Bethel Park's first offensive play from scrimmage is snuffed out And who
Alexander Minton,
else
the ball carrier.
on the stop? Minton gets the carry, and it is Brian Glover, one of the best of the batch
Brian
on Elise.
Richie Ryan.
He was
and
at
Cole
our
Conley.
early Sunday pre-taping of the best of the batch, and of course last night at the Pittsburgh Steelers' final preseason game.
And keeping the tradition for Pittsburgh Central Catholic, having JJ last year, they seemed like there was always a representative from Pittsburgh Central Catholic on the best of the batch.
Second down, and we'll call it 10 after the no gain on Minton. Line is flinching back and forth. No flag. Pressure's coming. They got a middle screen set up on the play to get it over to Shante Pryor. But Pryor is tracked down very quickly after actually a 5-yard loss in the play. They'll give it to Scarborough and Patrician on the stop back to the 30-yard line. It will be third down and 14 after the loss of 4, Mike. And both offenses really a feeling out process. You see this a lot in high school football in week 1. No one wants to go necessarily for the deep play or make that first mistake of the season, so you see a lot of conservative calls here early.
Yeah, well, Central tried to go deep, just some miscommunication, but the mirroring defensive stretches here on the opening series kind of shaking the rust off. It is week 1, and both teams looking to send the other to punt.
Handoff left side. It's Shante Pryor, the 5'7" senior off the left end. Goes nowhere. Give it to Adamitis and DeMar Hamlin on the stop, but it's fourth down. And we thought maybe a possible, someone called timeout.
The referees don't even look like they know. You couldn't ask for better weather, though. We got almost an Indian summer here in late August, and
Ronnie Jones and
beaming
John Patrician
sun still on this field. It looks like you're playing in the middle of July.
Feels like it too.
Yeah, it does. We have air conditioning in the press box, but we couldn't even turn that up.
This is the president's box up here.
We're VIP at the Chance Sports Network, representing the championship team in Pittsburgh Central Catholic. Why not?
Punt is away for Bethel Park, high end over end. Flag came flying down there late towards where the punter was, and this is going to take a nice Bethel Park roll around. And it's going to get touchdown, and they're going to mark it at the 47-yard line. Ironically, that's where Central Catholic started their first drive of the season. But we're going to check this flag here.
Vikings take over.
And a benefit of Pittsburgh Central Catholic not to have it bounce off any of their players or even try to catch that football. That had a fumble and had a catastrophe written all over it. Shied away and just lets the ball fall where it may.
Penalties against Central Catholic, and I believe they're going to repunt here. I believe it's just a 5-yard running into the kicker penalty.
So everything I just said is null and void?
Right. First of many times that will happen throughout the year.
No, it's a rarity. It's anything I said is gospel. Except for the referees, where they apparently disagree.
So they'll move it up 5 yards and we'll repunt this. Those of you on the radio side of things, Bethel Park moving right to left across your computer screen or cell phone.
iPad,
right? Android device. We don't discriminate here.
We do not.
Here is the return. Patrician makes the catch on the back pedal. Back pedals to the 20-yard line. Will reverse field. Goes all the way laterally across the far side. Got blockers. 35-40 and across the 40-yard line. He's up to the 43-yard line. John Patrician's touched the ball twice on special teams, and he's done special things to this point in the season already.
He is basically the entire offensive yardage, and it's only on special teams, but he's setting up in field position. When you have two evenly matched teams, what do you look for stat-wise? Field position, time of possession. Central Catholic has the edge in both those two categories. Can they get a longer drive? Can they materialize to a first down? And can they finally get points on the scoreboard to intimidate Bethel Park in the beginning of this game?
Farad from under center in I formation now. They'll hand it off. It will be Foster on the carry, plunging forward for 2 yards to the 45-yard line. Grant Foster will be the starting quarterback, and starting running back, beg your pardon, this year. And boy, wasn't there a lot of controversy over the tailback spot in Pittsburgh Central Catholic area. Of course, everyone coming in expected Riley Redmond to be the starting running back, and Redmond ruled ineligible by the WPIAL as his birthday falls just days short of the cutoff day, his 19th birthday, falling just days short of the cutoff. Central appeals it to the PIAA, who, for the first time in we don't know how long, upheld the ruling. And he is, since there's still some legalities that are in effect, but here's a fade route going down the far sideline and just could not hit intended receiver Braxton Swan, streaking up the near sideline, could not hit him, incomplete. And it will be 3rd down and 8 from the 45-yard line. But going back to the story about the tailbacks, so you're assuming Riley Redmond stays on the roster but unable to play as it sits this moment, and we'll see, and we'll let everything run its course there, but to this point he's ineligible to play. Then Ron George, who was planned to be the tailback for Central Catholic, breaks his leg and he's out for the year. So now you have, thankfully they had such a nice contingent of tailbacks that they could continue passing it down the line, and you have a very nice young man and Grant Foster that's going to be able to run the football for Central this year.
Well, it's a nice luxury to have all those athletes, especially at one position. But for Redmond, looking at what Central did last year was partly because of him. It wasn't just Luis Labrinza. He had injuries. He didn't play in multiple games. Redmond was able to be relied on for 100 yards plus rushing. They used him in the goal line. He was the red zone back. He was critical to that team's offense without Labrinza, and with JJ not using his arm as much as maybe he would have liked. To not have him this year, I'm sure, caused some stress during Central's offseason, but still able to get a nice athlete at that position nonetheless.
3rd down, and we'll call it 13 after a pre-snap penalty. Farad back to pass, going to streak it down the far sideline now, and incomplete. DeMar Hamlin, the intended receiver, and Farad has just put a little bit too much juice on his passes here. Maybe a little bit over anxious, a junior, getting his first start in the varsity ranks. Maybe a little bit overzealous here to start things off on his second drive.
And maybe the pressure of his last name, maybe that's where he got his first name from with Gus Farad and the can that he had in the NFL. But he is showing he has an arm. He has the arm strength, but 3 deep passes of 30-plus yards overthrowing his target. That got to be on the quarterback. It might be nerves from week 1. It might be his lineage. We don't know. It's obvious they want to open up this playbook, and they're going to keep trying it deep.
Mitch Maxilla to boot this one away. He got one in inside the 20. Now to pin one right at the 25-yard line. Mitch Maxilla, tell you what, good start to his season. You know, special teams gets overlooked, and Mitch Maxilla, he also a part of the best of the batch, the one special teamer that gets selected to the best of the batch every season, and Mitch, well deserving of it, the leading scorer on Central Catholic last year, WPIAL champion. He's the leading scorer. You got to give him a lot of credit because with that offense, there's not a whole lot of opportunities to kick field goals. You're kicking mostly extra points, but he's been lights out for the Vikings.
Well, maybe there will be this year in the first few weeks when you do have a first-time starter at the quarterback position.
Well, second look at Bethel Park's offense, and it looks like Central might have jumped prematurely. According to the clapping of the white jerseys and black helmets and orange trim, that looks like the case, and it is, as the offsides call against the Vikings will move Bethel Park 5 yards ahead. Referee is Bill Heidekamp. His linesman, Dave Paparello. Field judge is Ryan Barnhart. Umpires Jim Connolly. Line judge Brian Long. And the side judge is Jerry Lavelle. Give the boys in stripes some love as we set up a 1st down and 5 from the 31-yard line for the Blackhawks. Matheny sends a man in motion, and they have tailback handoff, and boy, the blue jerseys are swarming. The new blue jerseys. Are you happy as a Central Catholic alum? They have moved on from the very traditional and very long-standing
new uniforms. Yeah, new pants with the stripes in the pants, the stripes there. More of a modern feel, but I am a traditionalist, so it's much to my chagrin as an alum. I want to keep it biased, not biased here in the broadcast, but yeah, those are traditional. It's kind of like the the no logo, the no names when they used to have at Penn State. It just felt right for Central to have those previous uniforms.
I think Central might have jumped again here. Yeah, they did. Matheny must be doing a masterful job of a long snap counts and getting this chain gang a little bit anxious to jump off the football.
Well, they're trying, and they're feeling more pressure because of what Central's not doing on offense. There's a lot of rust being shaken off. There are some new integral pieces on this team, even though there was a lot returning from 2013 season. But I don't know if it's even as much as Bethel Park or maybe even Central Catholic. I'm sure if you asked the head coach of Central Catholic, he's going to tell you that's just inexcusable mistakes that we're making in the first quarter of week 1.
Matheny in trouble, will step up and take off and run with the football. Glover comes crashing in to make the stop, but it will give Bethel Park a first down, and our game's first down of this one comes on the 4th possession of the season for between these two teams. We've just been kind of watching an early season of ping pong between these two as of this early part. 5:45 to play in the opening quarter of high school football across the WPIAL. Thanks for tuning in. You're in the minority now, Mike. 7:30 starts in the minority now in the WPIAL.
From their 38-yard line.
First down at 10 for the Blackhawks from the 38. Turn around, hand it off left side. Helmet comes popping off as they give it off once again to Alexander Minton, the senior tailback at 5'8", 188. Minton is stopped for a yard loss. Glover again in on the stop, but boy, he's living up to the best of the batch title, is he not, to this part?
One on the play.
I'm sure they know, hey, we're on the best of the batch team. We got to respect Matt Fargo and Charlie Batch, and we got to be successful this season. I'm sure they feel that pressure on them.
I don't think I provide pressure for anybody. Maybe you, if anybody.
Well, I do what I can. Okay. If I need to be that motivation, I doubt the coaching staff will mind.
They send out a swing pass out to the far side, and that is incomplete. Trying to get Shante Pryor.
Keontae Pryor is incomplete.
Might have been the first pass they attempted in this game, too. We've seen two opposite styles on offense, two teams that have not been able to move the football yet, but Central trying to air it out. They keep on trying to pass, overthrowing their wide receivers, and Bethel Park all on the ground, quarterback or running back. They keep on trying to run. You would also figure that's the opposite of the way to move the football against Central's defense, but they've been able to do it a little bit. They're showing signs they can get downfield on the chain gang of Central Catholic.
Starting defensive line, Hinnish, Broughton, Thorpe, and Scarborough across that line for the blue and gold. Back to pass, pressure coming, pump fake, threw right into the hands. It was 44 Jordan Scarborough who took it away. What an interception by 44 in blue and gold. Jordan Scarborough. Levi Matheny had the whole half of the Central Catholic chain gang in his face, and he trying to throw it away. Scarborough got his big paws in the air and took the football right away. Central Catholic has a 1st and 10 at the Bethel Park 14-yard line.
And that turnover snaps the lull we had in the first quarter of this game. Now momentum on the side of Pittsburgh Central Catholic. The fans pumping their fist in jubilation. And just a boneheaded mistake on the quarterback, though. You got to tuck in that football and keep it for the next down. Interception right to a member of that defensive line for the blue and gold.
Handoff. It's Foster on the carry, and forward progress stopped by 32, Alexander Minton.
Down by Jacob.
We were talking about you have a few lineage players on this offense of Pittsburgh Central Catholic. Mike, you mentioned Gunnar Farad, and Gus Farad, of course, his father, who's the quarterback coach for Central Catholic. And then you kind of go down the line, just running the football. Grant Foster is the son of Barry Foster, former Pittsburgh Steeler.
Having Lynn Swan's son last year, it's kind of the
and another one this year.
Central Catholic.
Yeah, Braxton Swan now a junior on the Vikings.
Brian Totten, the ball carrier.
There's Totten on the dive play. Of course, head coach for Pittsburgh Central Catholic, Terry Totten, once again back at the helm, and Brian Tonnen is his nephew.
Gain of 6.
But when you have a traditional program like Pittsburgh Central Catholic, they're known nationwide, Dan Marino, Mark Bolger being from the school, you're going to bring on that heritage.
Foster on the right side. Great open field tackle for Bethel Parks. Keontae Pryor on the stop.
It really makes this school special, though. You have Western Pennsylvania football. You know about Woodland Hills, Upper St. Clair, schools like that. They have the history. They're also known. But when you have a Catholic school that's able to compete with the public schools, win championships over them, have pro athletes go to the NFL and have success there, it really makes Central Catholic almost give that Yankee-like vibe of Western Pennsylvania high school football and what high school football is to the area, what the school has done academically and athletically. It really adds something else to this program that maybe not other programs with even as many wins don't have.
5 state championships, another 4 state finalist appearances, including yesterday.
Games on www.wearechamps.net.
Timeout called by Pittsburgh Central Catholic here with 2:43 to play in the opening quarter. No score between Bethel Park and Central Catholic. Alongside Mike Asti, I'm Matt Fargo, and for the Central Catholic fans, we'll have coverage of Pittsburgh Central Catholic all season long, every game right here on the network. And of course, starting next week, we will also venture away from Central Catholic. We'll have our high school football game of the week. But looping in both of them for our inaugural game for Pittsburgh Central Catholic football, and I'm happy to do so. It's just, I was getting used to doing Upper St. Clair Woodland Hills. We had done that game for the last 2 years.
We have, in the rivalry, those two schools have kind of brought that on, but Central Catholic's seasons they've been having recently.
4th and 1, they give it off to Foster, and he's got the first down.
Grant Foster.
That will pick up a 1st and goal for Pittsburgh Central Catholic. Davis makes the stop for Bethel Park, but Central Catholic, they call the timeout, Mike. They're able to get the first down on 4th down and 1 from the 4, and they get to the 1 yard line. It's 1st and goal. They had 4 chances to punch it in from the 1.
And I would expect more ground and pound, more outside running, maybe a curl out to a tight end, but just for 1 more yard, not much work's needed.
Foster will make that work happen. 1 yard away for the first Central Catholic touchdown of 2014. It's a 1 yard run from 29 in blue and gold. Grant Foster for the Viking touchdown.
And Central Catholic shows why they're a championship team. They get a turnover, they capitalize on that turnover. They get momentum, they seize the momentum, and they get a touchdown. Foster into the end zone, and Central Catholic on the scoreboard.
Is Patrick Phibbs, the holder, John Patrician.
Phibbs, the long snapper here. Patrician to hold. And Mitch Maxura to kick, and it's blocked. Extra point, the first one of the season is blocked by 16. Jake Lewis blocks it. So, got to tighten up the line there on the special team side of things for Central, but 2:18 to play in the opening quarter, and it's Pittsburgh Central Catholic 6, Bethel Park nothing here on the Champ Sports Network. Mike, 5 possessions into high school football here in the WPIAL. What do you think about this one so far? I think, again, we were talking about this earlier, which is the first team to make that first big mistake of the season. Bethel Park does, and Central, as you mentioned, was able to capitalize on it.
And I think if Bethel Park was going to win, which would be an upset, they couldn't be the team to make that mistake. It was an even game. Neither team was really going anywhere. They're both feeling each other out still. And then all of a sudden, Bethel Park makes the mistake. Quarterback does not control the football, turns it over, interception. Central Catholic gets the football. Miraculous field position. They end up in the end zone with that first touchdown. That's what they do. They take advantage of opportunities like that, and now they have even more of a chance on offense to keep on tacking in more of their advantage.
Jacob Rocky is the kickoff kicker, if you will, for Central Catholic. Mitch Maxor will maintain punting and field goal duties as the junior Rocky. He has to love the movie. It's not spelled the same, but still. right?
He might be sick of hearing about the movie.
Yeah, he might be. Kickoff is a highway right through the hands and into the back of the end zone. So play that theme song as you get a touchback.
Rocky's kickoff goes.
I'd imagine his classmates go up to him. They're probably doing the jog.
Right.
Anytime there's steps there, they want him to run all the way up and dance. He's probably tired of it.
Well, we can't be accused for not giving special teams some love tonight. That's for sure.
No. Well, they've earned it. The missed extra point and all the return yardage, though, for Pittsburgh Central Catholic. Special teams have become an integral part of this game here in Week 1.
Well, here's Bethel Park back out offensively. And you'd like to see Levi Matheny maybe get some chances. They've really liked to try to set up these screenplays, and Central Catholic has done just a great job of staying at home to this point.
But if they're staying at home that much, maybe you catch them napping, maybe you try to go for a longer pass. Their corners are playing one-on-one.
There's another flag coming from our friend in the white hat.
Central's defense was more designed against the pass last season, more on the safeties. They would just rock you if you get anything beyond 10 yards. For this game, at least, they're trying to go all on the defensive line, stop the run because they feel that's all Bethel Park's going to do, and that's all they've done so far.
Legal substitution on Bethel Park, a 5-yard penalty will march them back to the 15-yard line. So first down at 15 from there. Matheny from under center. One-man backfield. It's Minton, and now we get the
finger pointing now from the blue and gold at Central. And Bethel Park looks to be walking further back, the shadow of their own end zone now.
Yeah, legal procedure penalty.
You cannot have this. This is a game that is within one score. It was tied before their mistake that turned the football over. They allow the touchdown, shake it off. We're still a playoff team. We're a team with high hopes as well. And then you go into the first 2 plays of the next drive for Central. Penalty.
10
cannot
yards.
have that.
But here's Minton spinning forward, and Alexander Minton will gain 9 of those last 10 yards.
Brought down by
as he gets back up to the 19-yard line. It will be second down at 11, so at least Minton is able to chew back up what they lost. But instead of Mike being a second down and 1, now it's second down and 11 because of the penalties.
You just cannot have penalties and turnovers hurt you and lose a game for you when you're playing the defending champion. And so far, that's what's happening for Bethel Park.
From the 19.
Ball rests at the 19-yard line. Bethel Park comes out with that one-back set once again. One receiver here to the near side. Man in motion right to left. Minton will get the call once again, and crashing in quickly, Colin Buckley.
On the carry,
6'2", all 210 pounds of the senior.
Colin Buckley
comes in and knocks Minton down. And I tell you what, Minton is one of those guys who continuously, he plays both sides of the ball for Bethel Park, and he sees a ton of carries, and you almost have to wonder, how durable can a guy be?
Yeah, and when you're getting to quad A football, you see many athletes play both sides of the football on single A and maybe even double A, but in quad A, not as common. Bethel Park doing that with a few of their stars, and it does cause some reason for concern for durability.
Timeout called by Bethel Park. That will be their first timeout of tonight's contest with 52 seconds to go here in the first quarter, albeit slow-moving first quarter. Almost 30 minutes gone by in real time here on the network.
And that might be one of those timeouts where the coach is going to go over there and say, hey, let's get our head on straight. Let's focus. We blocked the extra point. It's only 6-0. If we get in the end zone, we could take the lead just on one possession. There's no reason to freak out and lose our heads, which is so far what we're seeing.
Well, when you talk about Champ Sports Network coverage, Central Catholic football, and you can look at so much on Central Catholic football, history, pictures, stats, standings, you name it, it's there. CentralCatholicFootball.com, and also if you're a Pittsburgh Central Catholic alumni, make sure you visit that website, CentralCatholicFootball.com, and sign up. They're looking to get some of the alumni on board.
I'll have to sign up.
You have to.
I'm currently not signed up. I need to sign up.
Blitz is on its way, and what a job timing that for Pittsburgh Central. Colin Buckley grabs Matheny way back at the 11-yard line. I tell you what, Buckley timed that to a T.
We've seen a few plays like that where they know what's coming because Bethel Park hangs their hat so much on the ground. It's outside running, it's north-south running, it's quarterback, it's running back. It's all running. They've thrown one pass so far in this game.
And it was a swing pass.
It was a swing pass. Yeah. Basically a run.
So 4th down and 17 with 17 seconds left in the first quarter, and Bethel Park to punt the football away.
And now Central Catholic is going to be set up in field position again. They're going to once again have good field position for another drive.
And another penalty on Bethel Park, and the penalty bug is really getting them. Illegal substitution is the call. What a cool atmosphere here at Guest League Stadium at Carnegie Mellon. Folks on the hillside.
Good CMU students watching this game from the cafeteria and from some restaurants. Kind of gives you a college atmosphere for a high school football game.
Short punt. Patrician will field it on the run. Got the 35 and pushed out of bounds at the 30-yard line. Central Catholic 30 yards away from adding to their 6-0 lead. And we will have one more play before we send it to the end of the first quarter.
It's week 1. Why not have that first quarter lag on?
30-yard line.
But Central Catholic, who's not really played well, they've not had their A game. They failed to move the football on offense. I'm sure Coach Totten would tell you this is not a championship first quarter. I'm not happy with this first quarter, but they're still up 6-0. They still have the football at the 30-yard line as we close the first quarter, and all the mistakes for Bethel Park are making Central Catholic woes not matter.
Here's a wide receiver swing. DeMar Hamlin gets tracked down way back at the 39-yard line. Central trying to maybe be a little bit pulling the bag of tricks as Terry taught it in the offense. But Hamlin was tracked down very quickly. Alexander Minton and Levi Matheny track him down for a loss of 9 yards.
And Terry Totten still wants to see what he has on offense. Week 1 is different than week 7 or 8. Central Catholic would not have done that in week 7 or 8. They know the situation in this game. They know that it's by far not locked up, but they still want to see what their playbook has. They have a new quarterback in there. They want to see what trick plays can work, which is why maybe you saw that attempt here late in the first quarter.
1 quarter in the books. Central 6, Bethel nothing. Back on the Champ Sports Network after this.
Ladies and gentlemen, please
Located at centralcatholicfootball.com, your home for Viking football 24/7.
conspired to outscore opponents.
Welcome back as we get set.
67-36 in the
And when we welcome in here to the second quarter, Mike,
let's hear it for the
2004 defending champs.
Well, honoring my senior year of high school. Eugene Jarvis and Company winning a undefeated state championship, WPIAL, and the state of Pennsylvania, and one of the best teams this area, Western Pennsylvania, has ever produced, as the PA announcer says.
By Spencer Hayes.
Farad is sacked to the backfield
and Jacob Dixon.
for another one, three more on the loss there. It's going to march it back to the 42-yard line to start things here in the second quarter, 6-0 Central. And tell you what, we've seen a lot of plays on both sides of the ball behind the sticks so far. And you know, part of you don't expect everything to go smooth throughout week 1, and it's really a testament to how good these defenses are.
It's been the defenses. The defenses that have made this game not a disaster. These two teams are learning each other. It still is week 1. There is a groove that has not yet been found for either team, but defensively, especially on the defensive lines, they've been so strong, they've not allowed the big play for either side.
And the Vikings going to take a very early second timeout, their second charge to the half. 11:18 to play here in the second. 6-0 Pittsburgh Central Catholic leading the Bethel Park Blackhawks, and this one of the few games, and for Central and Bethel, they kind of have to be happy that, you know, obviously this is going to mean something at the end of the year when you're talking about pairings, but as far as section and getting into the postseason, it doesn't matter with this being a non-section contest. One of the few, a lot of Quad A starts with section play, and these two teams, one of the few that don't have to go into a quote-unquote playoff deciding game week 1.
It allows you to almost give yourself a preseason feel to week 1, where you want to win the game. You want to play well, of course, and it does count for your record, but it does not end your season. It does not put you behind the 8 ball in a conference. Your playoff hopes are not dashed from week 1. You really start in the same positioning for week 2 as where you were coming into week 1, win, lose, or draw.
So 3rd down and 22 for Central Catholic. Farad from the shotgun. Sign call to his left. Ball rests at the 42-yard line. Farad back to pass. Will step up into the pocket, avoids a rusher, and now moves here to the near side. Going to take off and run with it, and was able to avoid one, and then got popped by 33, Connor McGinnis, making the stop for Bethel Park, and Farad able to just pick up maybe 5 yards on that one, and it's going to be 4th down and 22 now after the game to get to the 38-yard line. So it looks like the special teams unit, Mitch Maxura, back out for the 3rd time this evening.
A smart play by Farad, though. There was no one open. He had nothing else to do, showed some leg action. Unfortunately, did not pick up the 1st down, and it does bring up 4th down.
For the Blackhawks, Maxura to punt for the Vikings.
Maxura will punt this one away and try to coffin corner this, and this is going to be a beautiful punt. Mitch Maxura. Pinpoint accuracy. He put it right out at the 4-yard line. And can you get any better than that?
1st and 10.
How about Mitch Maxura?
We might have seen the punt of the season in the first half of week 1. I can't do that in a video game. Positioning himself in the corner of the end zone. They're going to start at the 4-yard line. You could not ask more from your special teams. I'm talking about field position on the yardage for returns and positioning of where they're putting the opponent for Pittsburgh Central Catholic. This field position and this special teams unit has kind of bailed out any issues going on with the offense here in this first half.
Well, how about this to start a drive for Bethel Park? The shadow of their own goalpost at the 4-yard line.
I even saw the faces of that 2004 championship team standing on the sideline. They were smirking and laughing. They couldn't believe it either.
Breaking one tackle and pushing it out, Alexander Minton. And coming up to make the stop for Central Catholic, Richie Ryan, the 6'1 senior.
On the carry.
Captains for Central Catholic this season, Johnny Football, John Patrician, Graham Adamitis, Joe Tyndall, Jackson Horgan, and Eric McAllister. Your Pittsburgh Central Catholic captains this season. And by the way, Eric McAllister was named the Kyle Wilson Honorary Player of the Year. The last 2 years it was Luigi Listabrinza. Normally that player gets to wear 23, but because McAllister is a lineman, he's not allowed to wear 23. So 23 will not be worn by a Central Catholic Viking this year. And this one, a sweep to the left side. Pryor gets the carry, and a host of blue jerseys in on the stop, among them DeMar Hamlin.
And Cullen Buckley.
We'll push it back to make it a 3rd down and 10, a loss of 5 yards. So the 5 yards Minton gained on 1st down is lost. And it will make it 3rd down and 10 now from the 4-yard line.
6. 3rd and 11 from the 3.
But, of course, Kyle Wilson, the young man, a Central Catholic football player that lost his life back in October of 2008. And we'll talk more about him as the season goes on. But always good to see that Eric McAllister, this year's honoree, as they hand it off on 3rd down and long. They're going to lose 2 more.
And almost not having anyone wear the number gives it a de facto retirement for the season.
Along with Buckley.
Punt unit on for Bethel Park, and
Bryson Garner.
Boy, this is never an easy
from the 3.
Easy place to punt.
Again, this is the second punt from
Jones
their own end zone.
Deep.
Here's Patrician on the return. Can he make magic happen again? weaving his way forward, got the sideline, makes one miss, he makes another. Patrician down the sideline, and he's stretching over, and he is down to the 1 yard line. Johnny Football going down the far sideline. How about John Patrician? An acrobatic move down the far sideline, tight-roping the far sideline to get it to the 1.
But we don't give MVP awards for a half, but if we were going to, it would not even be a question. The field position he set up for the offense off of either a turnover, off either a kickoff or a punt, and he's just waiting to get one returned to the house.
Well, you can't get any better field position than this. First down and goal from the 1. 8:15, Farad from under center. They'll give it off to Foster. He'll lower his shoulder. He is in for the Central Catholic touchdown, as Graham Foster has 2 touchdowns, and they're both from 1 yard away. Central Catholic can't get any easier than that.
No, they're getting aided by the gift basket Bethel Park is giving them. Either the mistakes, either the turnovers. Also some luck for Pittsburgh Central Catholic on this field position, but Foster not having to wipe much sweat off his brow. Another 1 yard touchdown run as Central Catholic goes up 12-0, barring the extra point.
They got to get one more guy in there as he comes racing in. Plenty of time to get this one off. The play clock just at 10 seconds. Here's Mitch Maxura trying to tack on his first extra point of the year. Snap, hold, whistles. That kick was true. And a nice catch by the ball girl as well. Pretty solid catch over there. But we'll blow this one dead.
You're going to put it on the highlight reel for the video, like some major outlets do?
It's a false start penalty. So we'll march him back 5 yards.
It's almost humorous in a way. The only thing not going right for Central Catholic in the luck category is the extra point. Having one blocked, now a penalty after one is made. They have to try again.
So Maxura on to attempt a little bit longer extra point here. And that was nearly blocked, and that one will find its way through the poles and good.
Maxura's extra point is good.
8:09 to play here in the second quarter. It's Pittsburgh Central Catholic 16, Bethel Park nothing. Here on the Champ Sports Network. Just if you guys lost track, that drive summary, 1 play, 1 yard for Foster.
Bathroom breaks, blinking of an eye, you will miss the Central touchdown.
Oh yeah, you go to the bathroom and you don't know what happened.
It's going to be similar. Maybe Foster's already building that 2005 Jerome Bettis year where 10 touchdowns on 12 yards rushing. You can use them in fantasy.
Yeah, that's great. Someone needs to come up with high school fantasy. How interesting would that be?
They have college fantasy. That is the next step.
Right.
So I'm confident that's going to come.
There's all these WPIAL Twitter accounts. You'd think one's going to come up with.
Yeah, maybe we can do that then, because all these WPIAL Twitter accounts have an expanded following. We got our own, but maybe you can always expand the empire whenever we're against expanding the empire.
Speaking of Twitter, if you are on Twitter, follow Champs at ChampsSportsNet, and of course our favorite WPIAL Twitter account at WPIAL Insider.
Most likely, though, you're already following at WPIAL Insider. Most likely, you're already there. 11,000 followers and counting for WPIAL Insider.
And another nice kick by Rocky. Kicking that one out of bounds.
Were you waiting for the joke? You look at me when you say Rocky, you're waiting for the punchline?
Maybe. I don't know. Are you giving me one, or is there a rim shot coming? So Bethel Park back out onto the field. As we mentioned top of the broadcast, Bethel 6-4 from a season ago, quarterfinalist, or first round. Yeah, quarterfinalist. I was right. Quarterfinalist with North Allegheny.
And Central Catholic, what people forget, they're the defending champion, but they weren't the favorite coming into last season. People thought Upper St. Clair. People even thought Woodland Hills maybe. Central Catholic was not the team that everyone said, I guarantee they win a championship, like what has been the past. 2008, 2005, those teams were stacked. They thought it was theirs to lose. Not the case last year, but they did win.
Offset eye for Bethel Park. Here's Matheny. The southpaw going to let it fly down the far sideline and streak it up the inner numbers, if you will. Alexander Minton, intended receiver,
defended by John Patrician.
And that ball a little bit off the mark there for
from their own 20-yard
Bethel
line.
Park and for Levi Matheny. And that's really the first time, Mike, that they've tried something down the field, and they had one-on-one coverage. Matheny just not able to put the ball on the mark.
Yeah, that's on the quarterback. The wide receiver got in front of the corner. He was able to get outside, and it would have been a nice completion had he been able to come up with it. They're not a passing offense, though. He's not a passing quarterback. He even uses his legs to try to save himself. Only their first legitimate pass of the day, the other one being a swing pass for only a couple yards.
Matheny got tripped up. And I don't know how they're going to get it. I guess they're going to give it to Richie Ryan. Ryan got his hand in there about 45 seconds before it took Levi Matheny to fall.
And when you have a quarterback like Matheny, maybe not with the arm strength, you got to have a quick release. You got maybe to bring in more of the West Coast offense with shorter routes, which is what they tried to do in that first quarter when they did throw. But it's going to allow the defense to hurry up at you, get in your grill, and that's what we've seen. He's had no time to throw the football. He's held on to it too long, and their offensive line has also not held.
3rd down and 13 from the 17. Rolling out. Matheny in trouble. He's sacked again. This time it's DeMar Hamlin coming from the backside. There's a flag on the play.
By number 3, DeMar Hamlin. Flag on the play.
That flag thrown almost at point of contact for the sack.
Holding against Blackhawks.
Bethel Park.
Decline.
And they'll decline it and make it 4th down.
Yeah, I'll say so after that sack. They're going to decline that penalty on even more of a loss of yards on the sack than what the penalty would have been, but more mistakes for Bethel Park. They just cannot get anything going on offense, and it's not because they've not been able to move the football. They get yards. They almost connected on a deep pass when they're not even a passing offense. It's setting up for them, but then the mistakes, the penalties. We had a turnover that led to a touchdown for Central Catholic.
What could John Patrician do here? He's waving it off. They don't want it. Did that hit?
It looked like it might have hit a Central Catholic shoulder. That would then be a turnover. Bethel Park saying they have the football.
And the officials will not agree.
And you're hearing some booing. This is probably a bipartisan Central Catholic crowd. It is a home game for them, so close to their campus. They walk over to the game literally, but we could hear those boo birds. The Bethel Park crowd does travel. And that's one of those that, from my vantage point here in the 50-yard line in the press box, I thought it hit the shoulder of a Central player. I did think it was a fumble. That is not what the referees are going to call.
So 1st down at 10. Central dodges maybe a bullet there. They'll set up from the 46-yard line.
And more of that demoralizing and momentum-wise for Bethel Park to just get something off of a call like that.
And here off the left side, they give it off to Ronnie Jones, his first carry of the season.
Number 5, Keontae Pryor.
Pryor on the stop.
That's one of those, if you're Bethel Park, you just roll in your eyes saying, man, can we just catch a break here? We've seen the false start penalties. They had the interception. That turnover could have set the tone late in this first half. They're only down 2 touchdowns. The missed call by the referees once again gives momentum to Central Catholic as they're once again driving.
6:19 to play. Here in the second quarter, Farad from under center. Handoff. They give it off to Totten. And Totten picks up the 40, inside the 40 to the 38-yard line, picking up 4 on 1st down. McGinnis on the stop. And it will be a 2nd down at 6 after the pickup of 4. And Central Catholic really, Mike, trying to put, really make this a really deep bowl for Bethel Park if they could put another touchdown on the board and make it a 3-score game.
Well, with Central's defense and the way Bethel Park moves the football being so much of a ground offense, 20-0 might as well be 40-0.
2nd down at 6 from the 38-yard line. Offset I formation. And do we get a timeout or do we have a delay game?
The possession clock did go to 0, but they're calling a delay of game. Yep. If they tried a timeout, they didn't get it in time.
Sometimes he'll call there and the referee will.
Delay of game. 2nd and 9.
But Central Catholic, an offense that we said they're going to open up more of the playbook this year. We said they're going to even do more passing than they did with J.J. Constantino. They haven't needed to tonight because they've been able to move the football so much on the ground. It'll even set up more of the pass there later. Another flag.
Farad will wind and throw, and the pass is intercepted.
Depends on the flag, though, but that's one of those that if it was against Bethel Park, he would think it was a free play. We saw Brett Favre make a career of that in the NFL. The no-no-go-go, we're just going to throw it because it can't hurt us. Maybe Farad thought that penalty was against Bethel Park.
I think it was holding on Central, though. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, from the celebration, it does look to be against Central Catholic, one of those penalties that he's going to wish they had back, and maybe a pass he wishes he had back. They couldn't get the momentum from what should have been a fumble recovery on the return before the possession. Maybe now the interception will finally give them something.
And that was a great play by Pryor, breaking on the play.
Turns right around on the one-on-one.
And had to make a diving catch. So Bethel Park does slam the door shut here to not allow Central to go up by 3 scores, and they have a chance to get on back on the board or get their first score on the board. Here's an option play. Matheny on a keeper will pick up 4 yards to the 21-yard line before being brought down by John Patrician. It will be 2nd down and 6 on the run by Matheny.
And going back to that interception, it's more of a rookie first run starting quarterback in Farad. He did not know the penalty, did not read the penalty properly, just decided to gunsling it and throw that football. One of those maybe that if you're not sure, you just hang on to the football, live it for another day. Everything going right for Central Catholic with now possession and a turnover for Bethel Park. Now you never know. Late in the first half, if they can get a score, if they can get a drive, they're right back in this football game.
Got a timeout taken by the Blackhawks. That's their second of the half. One remaining for Bethel Park with 4:34 to play here in quarter number 2. 13-0.
Central Catholic High School right at your fingertips. We are staying connected via the website at www.centralcatholichs.com.
I don't know if it's meaningful or not, but Michael Navarro is warming up for Central Catholic down here on the near sideline.
And really, if Farad's going to be your quarterback this season, if he's going to be the future of this program, his father being a quarterback's coach, I don't know if I would make this change. You're leading in the game.
I mean, the question is Farad injured?
If he's injured, of course, you have to make the change. But otherwise, if it is off of performance, he's had a few passes that he's not able to connect with. There's some lack of continuity with the wide receivers, but that's all normal. This team is up 13-0. Yes, you have the interception, but it hasn't mattered. Farad, though, is being tended to by a trainer. I didn't see him get shaken up. I didn't see any injury on the football field, but maybe it is off of an injury.
Well, he got popped pretty good on that interception.
To number 5, Pryor is complete.
And you also put yourself in harm's way off of a penalty trying to throw the football. Another reason why he should have just kept the football, tucked it in, and went on to the next set of downs, whether it be for Central Catholic or for Bethel Park. Needs to preserve himself. It's going to be a long haul. They want the season. They want the playoffs. They want the championship. It's on his shoulders.
Well, as talking about Navarro warming up, who we'd have to assume is going to come into the game for Central. Bethel Park, a no gain on 2nd down. Now 3rd and 5 from the 22-yard line for the Blackhawks. And they set up the screen play, knocked it, intercepted, and he's going to take it down to the 1-yard line. Central Catholic, a tip drill to himself, intercepted 85, Rashad Wheeler.
And
how about Wheeler?
You saw, we got some competition for MVP now, but you saw Central Catholic players go over to Farad, being attended to by the trainer, give him a hug and say, hey, it doesn't matter. We're getting all these turnovers. We're going to keep on scoring. We won this game. Another mistake at Bethel Park. There's another time where they should have hung onto the football. Another interception by a member of the defensive line, walking himself almost into the end zone, in more field position, more mistakes, and more turnovers for Bethel Park, giving Central Catholic this football game.
Navarro in at quarterback for the Vikings.
So Navarro is in at quarterback. He'll turn it around, give it off to Foster, and he is in.
Grant Foster takes it to
Grant Foster.
for the Vikings.
He has 3 touchdowns turtling 4 yards.
It's
and
fantasy
Central's on the
points.
board again, 2 yards away for Grant Foster.
Foster has the fantasy points. They have the points on the scoreboard. It's not been pretty. It's not been flashy, but defensively there's been some highlights. Another interception by the D-line. Another 1 yard touchdown for Foster off the interception. And even the field position on drives that weren't off of an interception, putting them at the worst, the 30-yard line. Time of possession, turnovers, mistakes, penalties, and field position have all been won by Pittsburgh Central Catholic in the right columns where you want to be.
Mitchell Maxur is good. Extra point, 20 to nothing. And it is the defense, the chain gang, has set this team up with some great field position, and both on huge tip plays where you get guys that hardly ever touch the football, and they end up coming up with it.
And they're going to be excited for that because anybody can tip the football, anyone can get the stop, but for them to be able to use their hand, they're not members of the hands team. That's why they're on defense. They're not a corner. They're not keen to catching the football, able to turn those tips into interceptions, cause them to be points for a struggling offense with now an injured and rookie quarterback. You really got to give the props to this defense. This is why a player like Farad, someone learning this offense, someone who maybe didn't know it previously, you can make these mistakes and still win when you have a defense like this, when you have the weapons he has, and when you have a veteran team that is just so good around him.
Well, it does seem something maybe neck related or back related with
I originally saw him touching his knee, but we've seen him getting a few neck massages too, so I don't know what the injury could be. He was popped on the interception play.
So, but for Central, they are able to capitalize on another Central or Bethel Park turnover, and then, man, I tell you what, you gotta love this kicker in Rocky, because high school rules say if that ball goes into the end zone, it's a touchback regardless of whether you want to take it out or not. And Charlie was a huge proponent, I believe still is a huge proponent, of changing that rule. But as it sits right now, if it goes past the goal line, it's a touchback, and he's putting it there every time.
He has the boomstick. He has the Pat McAfee boomstick, able to get them back there and get more field position. As Bethel Park, in contrast to Pittsburgh Central Catholic, Bethel Park started possessions at their own 4. To be able to start their own 20, they're thrilled.
Well, last time they did, they had two 5-yard penalties to end up back at the 10. And, hey, we got some how about that?
But we are foreshadowing penalties here on the broadcast.
But this one is going to be against Central Catholic as they jump off sides, 5 yards, and move them up to the 25 now. First down and 5 for Bethel Park.
You know, with the score 20-0 and the way this game's going, and with Farad kind of being injury prone, being a rookie quarterback, puts himself at risk, do you even start him in the second half, even if he maybe is ready to go and is healthier? You got this win, it almost seems.
Fade route well and complete pressure
Matheny's pass
on Matheny, I beg your pardon.
You want to get him prep time. You want to get him mop-up duty. You want to have him play even if the game is no longer in doubt, because it is his first year starting and this is a championship team. But if he's not 100%, do you rush him out there because you also need to preserve him? It's going to be a question to ask in the locker room.
Well, the horse is dead. Second down and 5. From the 25. Matheny will go from the pistol formation with 4 wides, different formation here. And Matheny's going to take off and run, and an option play, loose football, and smothered by Minton, who was getting the pitch, and even the fumble is actually going to give them about 4 yards. So it'll be third down and 1, even with the fumble.
And Joe Tyndall.
Ryan and Tyndall on the stop for Central.
Fumble could have been worse, though. It could have been recovered by Central. Could have once again put them in the red zone for their next drive.
Update from Quad A ranks Penn Hills up on Upper St. Clair, 14-7. Those of you listening live, screenplay set up to the far side as they completed out to
Matheny
Chandler
pass complete
Dietz.
to Charlie Davis. Brought
And that
down
will
by
move the
Bryson
sticks
Gardner.
for Bethel Park to the 30-yard line. They needed one, and they got just that, so move the sticks for Bethel Park. And
First down, Blackhawks.
if Bethel Park can punch something in here before the break,
They need some momentum. They need some confidence. They need an ego boost before going to the locker room. Even if it's not
First
points, they
and
need to
10,
show they can
30.
get in Central Territory on their own.
and here's Matheny going long, got his receiver, and it went right through his hands, incomplete. Christopher Papalea.
Matheny's pass intended for.
And that was one-on-one, got in front of the corner. That could have been a touchdown had that been connected.
DeMar Hamlin.
That
Right
was
through the breadbasket.
That was the momentum boost that they were searching for, no doubt.
And for a quarterback that does not normally
Second
throw
back and
long
10
passes,
for the
that was
Blackhawks.
perfect. That was right into the breadbasket. He beat the corner. It was in the only spot his receiver could catch it. It could not have been intercepted. Not able to haul it in for the wide receiver.
And now down here on the central sideline is Alexander Minton gets the carry, and he picks up 1 yard.
Alexander Minton.
We have Finderhurt, Eddie Finderhurt,
Brought down by Kurt
warming up
Minnick,
for Central Catholic. That's the third string quarterback, so I don't know if something did happen.
along with Buckley.
Possibly.
and
Maybe just for
Brian
fun.
Silver.
20-0. Why not get everybody a snap?
I don't know, but
I don't know how fun it'll be if it's 20-7. This is a huge drive. Bethel Park needs to try to move this football. They can change the complexion of this game. It is 3rd down and
Gain of
9.
1. 3rd and 9 from the 31.
3rd down and 9. Ball rests at the far side hash 31-yard line. 1:30 to play in the quarter. Rolling out here to the near side is Matheny. He has a receiver, and he makes the catch on the run. Got midfield and slides out of bounds for the first time tonight. Bethel Park is in Central Catholic territory as Matheny hooks up with Jake Lewis, the 5'8 senior. Perfect window. Matheny able to fit it in. And the 5'8 senior able to pick up big yards in a Bethel Park first down.
Splitting the corners. An absolute possession. That was exactly how they drew it up. They get themselves a first down, get to midfield now. More room to play with for the offense.
First down at 10 from the 46 of Central. And rolling out Matheny will throw again, complete his pass out to Minton. Minton the first down and more as he's inside the 30, down to the 27-yard line. And Alexander Minton and Bethel Park back-to-back first downs. They get it to the 27, and they have figured out getting Matheny out of the pocket is giving him more time.
Rolling him out, using his legs, and using Minton, a big body, and his size. He's so difficult to bring down once he catches the football.
Back to pass, pressure coming, steps up, conducts traffic, and spins his way forward. Does Levi Matheny as he will pick up 4 yards on the first down play and gets down to the 22-yard line.
Where was this game plan in the first quarter and a half? It's all in the legs of Matheny. It's either rolling out for the pass, it passes at the appropriate time.
From the 23.
Pressure coming and timing that perfectly.
In the backfield.
Richie Ryan
Richie Ryan.
sacking Matheny with 24 seconds to go in the first half. Throwing him to the turf, and Ryan, here's the problem, Mike, with that fast-paced offense for Bethel Park. They weren't doing the long snap counts, and Central Catholic had timed it to a T, and Ryan able to blast in there really untouched for the sack.
And maybe that's why they didn't do more of it in that first and second quarter. Central Catholic able to read it, able to use one player just getting through a hole in a gap and getting the sack on a one-on-one defensive clip. Matheny tried to roll it out, tried to find more room to throw. He had Minton once again open, but Central Catholic finally figured it out as well. And now everything that Bethel Park built with 26 seconds remaining here in this first half, Central Catholic could have just dashed. And this is all about momentum now going in the locker room for the second half. Will Bethel Park get themselves points? Will they get on the scoreboard? Will they make this a 2-possession game? Or will Pittsburgh Central Catholic hold the 20-0, go in the locker room, and continue their domination of this first half?
So after the timeout by Bethel, Their final. 26 seconds to play here in the first half. And shotgun for the Blackhawks. 4 wide for Matheny. He'll go back to pass. Has time this time. 3-man rush from Central. Going to let it fly into the end zone. Got a receiver and swatting that one out of the atmosphere for Central Catholic. Tremendous play.
Chris Papalia.
I believe it was 24. Bryson Gardner on the coverage and swatting that ball out of the atmosphere. And a huge play there, because if Gardner doesn't come in, Bethel Park's on the board.
No, that's a touchdown if Gardner doesn't come in. But Gardner, even swatting the football, almost swatted it once again into the hands of Gardner. He almost swatted it behind him where he couldn't see the football, and then almost was a reception accidentally for Bethel Park. They just haven't got any luck, though, in this first half. They're not going to get luck for a touchdown like that.
4th down and 13. Back to pass. They need at least 13, and a huge
Matheny's pass.
Break up there. Buckley breaks up the pass.
It wouldn't have been a first down anyway, though. Well shy of the first down marker.
16, Jake Lewis.
Jake Lewis, the intended receiver, and he is down right now for Bethel Park with 14 seconds to play here in the opening half.
Central Catholic takes over on downs. 1st and 10 from their own 30-yard line.
Well, after the takeover for Central Catholic, they might go down to one knee and be happy with the 20-0 score after one half of play, and I think that's the way it's going to be. Pittsburgh Central Catholic,
the score
after
Catholic Vikings
24,
Bethel Park Blackhawks
Bethel Park trailing Pittsburgh Central Catholic 20-0 here from Gessling Stadium on the campus of Carnegie Mellon University. Mike, Central Catholic, a rousing performance. Defense really didn't need to wake up. They were here to play, and then the offense kind of falling into their own. They've been set up with great field position multiple times. You're talking about 3 touchdowns coming all from Foster from a total of 4 yards away, 2 from 1 yard, 1 from 2 yards away, and now Central Catholic rolling to a 20-0 lead going into the break. And the way this defense is playing, the second half looks promising unless Bethel Park can bring back the offense. They did have some glimpses of greatness. They just kind of ran out of time there.
It's been mostly all Central Catholic in that first half, and we said at the top of the broadcast, Central Catholic might be better than last season. They might be more explosive than last season. They might even be different than last season. This first half was 2013 Pittsburgh Central Catholic and how they won last season. The defense bails out the offense, not many big plays. They don't move the football that much, but when they do, they're able to score. They get the 1-yard touchdown run based on field position. Special teams is the MVP of that first half. That's how Central Catholic won the WPIAL Quad A championship, and that's how they have a 20-0 lead here in the first half. Bethel Park, the last drive, they finally moved the football with Matheny rolling out, using his legs. He wasn't able to be a premier runner in that first half, but was able to use his legs to roll out for some short passes, get first downs to the tight end, use his size to get yak yards after the catch, to extend the play. More of that in the second half could maybe catch them up, but Central Catholic defense is really, really powerful, and from the looks of this game, Central Catholic is another favorite for a championship, and it's really going to be tough for Bethel Park here in this second half.
So what you're saying is Central's playing Pittsburgh-style football. It's not pretty, but it gets the job done.
They're playing Pittsburgh Central Catholic-style football. I usually hate that cliche, but it completely holds water here from that first half.
20-0, our score after 24. You're watching and listening, or one of each, or both, one of some combination.
Either way, you're hearing us, and if you're not, you're doing it wrong.
That's right. We'll take a break and come back with the second half. Right here on the Champ Sports Network. Stick around. Be back to Carnegie Mellon in Forbes Ave after this. Great shot of a crescent moon over Oakland and Forbes Avenue here on the Champ Sports Network. Welcome back inside Gessling Stadium on the campus of Carnegie Mellon University. And I'm back alongside Mike Asti. I'm Matt Fargo. Glad you can make us a part of your first Friday night experience of 2014. Pittsburgh Central Catholic, they're rolling 20-0 over the Blackhawks from Bethel Park. And Mike, this has been really a testament of the two some really unexpected play from unexpected sides of the football. Special teams has been huge for Central Catholic. They've been able to set up good field position. How about Mitch Maxhurst's punt to the 4-yard line, pinning Bethel Park deep? You called it maybe the punt of the season that we've already seen here in week 1. And the defensive play has been spectacular for Pittsburgh Central Catholic. They've caused 2 turnovers that have led to Central Catholic touchdowns, and they've both been interceptions, but they've both been by interior line guys who rarely see touches of the football. Really, Central's had all of the guys step up, and it's been a Central Catholic game. They're playing Central Catholic football, as you said.
Central Catholic is up 20-0, mainly though because of luck and because of the special teams. Central Catholic did not play well on offense. They missed a few targets. Farad is still shaking rust off in his first career start for a defending WPIAL champion, but it hasn't mattered because defensively they got in amazing field position on every single return, almost taking a few to the house. They've been able to get interceptions returned by the defensive line, not just tipped but intercepted, able to get themselves to the 1-yard line. Foster 3 touchdowns and 4 total yards, all of it from goal line territory. And Central Catholic showing why they are a champion because they're taking advantage of mistakes and turnovers from Bethel Park, whereas Bethel Park finally moved the football at the end of that first half. Before that, they weren't even able to do so. They finally found their system, rolling the quarterback out, Matheny using his legs to set up the short pass, but they've had no luck. They've had no breaks. They've made some really, really boneheaded mistakes with penalties and miscues on offense, and it's been Central Catholic for a reason, but this game could easily flip with the coin because we've seen momentum almost go to Bethel Park a few times. Central Catholic cannot be too confident, too comfortable, and I would not be surprised if they come into this second half and still try a few big plays to really try to seal the deal here in the third quarter.
If I showed the statistics to any person who has any account of football at any level,
or even not, my grandmother maybe.
Yeah, maybe. You almost would have to venture a guess that Bethel Park could be leading this game. You look at what Central Catholic has done statistically. Brian Totten leads rushing right now, 3 attempts for 13 yards. His long of 6. How about Grant Foster? He's touched the ball 8 times. He has 12 yards on 8 carries and the whopping 3 touchdowns in the game. As we mentioned, his 3 touchdowns totaling 4 yards on the ground. Passing, they haven't completed a pass. They're 0 for 4 in the passing department. Gunnar Farad went 0 for 4, and we haven't seen an attempt otherwise since he went down.
It's similar to what they did last year, though. It's similar to what they did with J.J. Constantino. He was veteran. He was coming back from starting the season before, but they didn't throw that much. They didn't have to because of what they did on the ground. Now they don't have to just off of special teams and the fact they've had so many turnovers.
Rushing for Bethel Park. Leading is Alex Minton. He has 7 carries for 13 yards. That's the leading category there. I mean, these are very interesting numbers. Levi Matheny is 6 of 12 for 38 yards. They in the 2 interceptions, of course, giving up the 2 balls that he has given up there.
Brought to you by the Central Catholic Letterman's Club.
Some other interesting numbers. Central's 0 for 4 on third down conversions. Bethel Park is 2 for 9. That's 22%. Rushing yards as a team, 14 carries for 23 yards for Bethel Park, 16 carries for 30 yards. So neither team averaging over 2 yards a carry. here in this first half
I
of
think
football.
you're making your point. The numbers have been poultry. Both teams, including the leading head coach of Terry Todd for Pittsburgh Central Catholic, I'm sure went in the locker room and say, hey, let's get it together, let's get our act together, and let's get into the game that we're supposed to play. This is not how practice was for either team.
Last one for you. Total offensive yards, 41 Bethel Park, 30 Pittsburgh Central Catholic. Just unbelievable. Right?
You would think this game was 7-0 or 0-0, and it might even be able to be 20-0 in favor of Bethel Park if it was not for their turnovers. They were moving the football, throwing an interception, end up losing with a touchdown by their opponent, by Central Catholic. But it's really was one of those halves you like to forget if you're Bethel Park. One of those halves you kind of got lucky for Pittsburgh Central Catholic, and now we have a second half. Everyone has a clean slate.
Well, here's Rocky again, and tell you what, he has the boomstick, as you mentioned. That is impressive to continuously do that.
And field position-wise, if he's able to do that the entire season, that's one edge that you always put in the checkmark category for Central Catholic. You're going to put your opponent at the 20-yard line or back based on having a kicker like him.
So Bethel Park in desperate need for points here. He will come in with this Bethel Park offense to try to get things going. First down at 10 from the 20-yard line. As we begin third quarter action here from Guest League Stadium on the campus of CMU, the home of the Tardens, and home tonight for the Vikings. Throwing on first down, sliding, and did he make the catch? He did, intercepted. Pittsburgh Central Catholic. Brian Gardner.
10, Jacob Dixon.
No, and they're going to say incomplete. Oh, man, I thought Gardner had slid to the turf and made that interception. And initially, the officials made the indication that he did, and then quickly changed their minds and said incomplete.
And Central Catholic was jumping up and down, thinking he had made the interception. Gardner, the same player that was able to get the tip pass to stop a Bethel Park touchdown on their last drive of the first half. So he's been all over the football field. Almost another turnover, almost another interception, almost Matheny continuing to bite the foot of Bethel Park, but a break that time for Bethel Park. They're not used to it this game so far.
And in motion left to right, they go from the pistol on second down at 10. It will be an option play that he flipped back. Ball's on the turf way back at the 5-yard line. Loose pigskin. It's still on the carpet. Central scrumming for it. It's back at the inside the 5-yard line. Central indicating they have the football, and the officials concur. They do. First and goal, Central Catholic inside the 5. It is the third time that Central will take over a possession inside the Bethel Park 5-yard line this game.
Maybe, this is cliche, but maybe for Bethel Park, it's just not in the cards today. They're just not destined to win this game. They don't get the interception that probably should have been. They then turn it over off of a fumble. And once again, we sound like a broken record, Central Catholic starts the possession in goal line territory, not just the red zone, but in goal line territory. A few yards now needed by Foster, not just one. But it's now becoming a joke how easy it's been for Central Catholic to score.
So still in at quarterback is Michael Navarro. Navarro will give it off on the left side, cutting back, lowering his shoulder. He's into the end zone. Ronnie Jones from 4-6, and the Central Catholic touchdown.
For the Central Catholic.
And Ronnie Jones barrels his shoulder, get to the outside, and another short rushing touchdown following a turnover for Pittsburgh Central Catholic. We mentioned the do you start Gunnar Farad in this second half because even though he's not completed the pass, your team was up 20-0, now 26-0. We weren't sure if he was injured or not. We've seen Navarro stay in there as the starter for Central Catholic here in the second half. I'm not sure if it's a decision to preserve their future starter in Farad or if his job is in jeopardy. No matter how you slice it, this game's going all for Pittsburgh Central Catholic.
Yeah, I don't see Farad down on the sideline. You have to indicate injury there.
And the extra point by
Magzura's kick is good. 11:37 to play in the third. And Central is rolling to a Week 1 victory, leading 27-0 with 11:37 to play in quarter number 3. And this is just... any offense can score where they're giving them the football right now. I mean, this defense is handing them the football inside not only the 20, but the 5-yard line 3 times.
It's not because if somebody just listened to the broadcast and they're just listening to the radio, not seeing the game, or just our voices, they might think, well, Central Catholic is blowing them out. This is roll Vikes. It's not really been. To be fair, Central Catholic's not been dominating this game.
Defensively, they have.
Defensively, they played one of the better games I've seen them play in ages, but they've had to because there's been nothing on offense. Yeah. But they've had the interceptions, they've had the fumble, they've turned those into points, and not just points in general, but points because they set themselves up on a return to the 1, 2, or 3-yard line at the worst from their opponent in their own territory. And I think we could get an entire group of guys from the press box to score consistently from where Central Catholic's had to begin possessions.
Run off, tackle off Jeff Wink.
I'm confident. Quarterback sneak. I think I can get myself a touchdown. I think Mike Asti can go for 6.
All right.
From the 1-yard line.
Here's Rocky. Back out in the end zone consistently again.
And more field position. If I'm going to give an MVP, it's the entire special teams unit, either on a return or now from where they put them field position-wise. Even if not a turnover, Bethel Park doesn't even get their possessions to begin in relative decent territory. They already start with the 20-yard line or earlier, and then you compound that with turnovers. This is one of those games where maybe you scrap the tape and say, hey, it is our mistakes that lost it. That is a great team over there, but we gave them this game, and I'm not trying to be hard on Bethel Park. They were competitive. They were moving the football, but they've given Central Catholic 27 points.
First down and 10 for Bethel Park, and they hand it off, and it's a run right up the middle. As Alexander Minton
on the carry.
He picks up 10 yards at a Bethel Park first down to the 30-yard line.
And Bryson Garner.
And with the way they move their football, so much on the ground, even when Minton has it, even when it's short passes, even with the rollout from Matheny, they don't have a quick strike offense to make up for these points fast. They're a methodical offense. You can do that in the first half when it's close, but not now trailing 27-0.
And off.
Minton.
Again, Minton picks up 2. Brought down by Glover for Central Catholic. Second down.
David Adams.
And they gave him 3. So second down and 7
and Bryson Garner
for Bethel Park, I beg your pardon. At the 33-yard line.
Second and 7 from the 33.
And if you're Bethel Park now, and you're a coach, you're telling your team, forget the scoreboard. It is possession, possession, possession. Take each possession individually. We've shown we can move the football. Let's not turn it over, and let's on try to finally get off the goose egg.
Flags come flying in as Matheny's hit as he throws, and incomplete.
And that could have been turned over, a pass thrown into triple coverage, but after the flag.
Flags in the backfield. Legal motion on Bethel Park.
You know, it goes to show you when you have a program like Pittsburgh Central Catholic, you're up 27-0, but Coach Capretta on the sideline is probably, if you just follow him, you would think this team is trailing 27-0. He is irate. He's throwing his visor. This team is up 27-0, but they've not played well, and they want more from their team if they're going to win another WPIAL championship.
Penalty was declined, so they'll take the down and make it 3rd and 7 from the 33.
3rd and 7 from the 33.
Offset I formation for Bethel Park. Back to path. Matheny will throw, and off the mark there on the far side, trying to hook up with Papalia. It's incomplete.
Papalia is incomplete. Defended by number 3.
And another just overthrown ball. Didn't give the wide receiver time.
4th and 7.
Needs a quick release against this defense of Pittsburgh Central Catholic. So much blitzing. They're just rushing the passer every single play, focusing on the line, focusing on the quarterback, thinking every play is going to be a run play or a rollout, and every play has been a run play or a rollout by the quarterback.
Jones and Patrician deep.
So Bethel will punt.
Papalia to punt for the Blackhawks.
Point was made, though, by our producer here, Jeff Wink. Pittsburgh Central Catholic up 27-0. But if they play like this against North Allegheny, they could lose 27-0.
There's no question. I mean, I don't know about that. I think the defense is once again.
The defense might be why they don't.
Right. But offensively, you're right. I mean, this is something for Central Catholic to take into the next week, and you have a game.
Do you even have a quarterback controversy? Do they even have a quarterback controversy?
Well, I don't think based on performance. No, you're talking about a guy who attempted just 4 passes.
Yeah, and the wide receivers could have been blamed for a few of those not being completed.
So I think from a quarterback is they go for it. Bethel Park goes for it on 4th down, and they're stopped short. So it's going to be a turnover on downs, and Central's going to get great field position on 1st and 10 at the 38-yard line. But, yeah, I don't think there's a quarterback controversy. I think, you have a junior quarterback in Gunner that clearly was shaken up pretty significantly on that play. So I think it was a job up for the taking coming into camp. So that's not to say that you might see something happen there, but Michael Navarro will remain in for this. And this is Navarro's chance to show the coaches what he can do, and he's going to hand this one off to Foster, and Foster lowers his shoulder, takes it to the 35-yard line, picking up 2.
I'm sure he thought he'd never get this playing time because even though it was an open competition, you do have Gunnar Ferrant being a son of a former NFL quarterback. His dad is the quarterback's coach. He's going to have a little bit of the nudge there by them wanting him almost to win the job. He hasn't had any reason to lose the job in this game, just going 0 for 4 on deep passes that could have easily been completed had his wide receivers beat the corner or been a little faster. But this is just a game that's going to show they have a lot of work to do in practice, even by winning 5 or 6 touchdowns. There's going to be some yelling going on in practice this week for Pittsburgh Central Catholic.
Foster will pick up the 30 and down inside to the 29. Going to be awfully close. Going to be maybe about a yard short of the first down. 3rd down coming up.
Down by Sean Davis and James Committer.
But, from an offensive standpoint, but you know what? I mean, it's kind of ironic that this is something that, I mean, they had 2,000-yard rushers in Riley Redmond and Lista Brinza last year, but offensively, they're going to have to pick it up, no doubt. 3rd down and 1. Foster around the left side, and will get the first down. Needs 1, gets 3.
Foster, the ball carrier.
Well, one of the reasons why Central Catholic was not the favorite in Quad A coming into last season, people thought offensively they were one-dimensional. You knew every play, like Bethel Park, that it was going to be a run play. It was going to be either Riley Redmond or Lista Brinza. And for a few games, it was only Redmond because Lista Brinza was injured. He was still able to win. He was still able to get the yards. It was one of those years that everything in the stars aligned for Central Catholic running. Constantino did not have to throw. That's the offense we're seeing here again, in the offense they thought they kind of fixed.
They give it off here between the tackles to Ronnie Jones. Jones picks up the 25-yard line, brought down by Jacob Dixon.
Jacob Dixon and Alexander Minton.
Well, from what you've seen from Central Catholic in this game, they're obviously going to need to improve the offense, but defensively they might have the best defense in all of the WPIAL.
Yeah,
you know what you've seen from Woodland Hills, from Upper St. Clair, from North Allegheny. Who would you say is your favorite in Quad A? Is it the defending champions, or have they not showed you enough, and maybe it's one of the more perennial statesmen that I mentioned?
Well, our Champ Sports Network power rankings say it's Pittsburgh Central Catholic. I'll finish the thought after the play as back to pass. Navarro hit as he throws. Well, he's able to get it off to Foster. Foster to the 10, inside the 5, to the end zone. That's a Central Catholic touchdown. But there are a bunch of flags down on the play. There's one way back at the 30, and then there's 2 more down around the 5-yard line. And this one is not going to stand. I think the officials might have flagged that it was too far of a run for Foster.
Yeah, they weren't sure. They were just as confused as us. But he had more yards on that run that doesn't count than he's had on his 3 touchdowns.
Right.
That did definitely count. The first flag he's had all the snap.
Coming into the this second half, he had 12 yards on the ground.
But Central Catholic, being the defending champion, is going to be the favorite. But this is, again, as it was last year, a wide-open field because they do have such a question mark on offense, and we've really not seen their offense get a drive together going from their own territory to a touchdown. We've not yet seen that here in week one, even though they're up 27-0.
Well, legal shift was the call, so that negates the play.
To the 29.
So second 12 from the 29-yard line. Shotgun for Navarro, the sidecar to the left. And they give it off to Ronnie Jones. Jones weaving his way and trying to spin his way forward.
Number 8, Ronnie Jones.
Will maybe get back to the original line of scrimmage and pick up 2. Nah, it doesn't look like it. Give him 1. So 3rd and 1. Pryor on the stop for Bethel Park, and it will be a 3rd down and 11 coming up at the 28-yard line for Pittsburgh Central Catholic. And if they do not get this, maybe expect to see a Mitch Magzura field goal attempt.
See what you got in the leg of your kicker.
Michael Navarro from the gun. Back to pass, pressure. Set up a screen play, and they got Ronnie Jones set up. And Jones shrugs off a defender. Makes another one miss and is out of bounds. Very close to the first down sticks. He might be about a yard short of the
to George.
First down spot, but what a nice job there by Ronnie Jones to shrug off about 3 defenders there to get very close to the sticks.
Gain of 10.
And that was all on Jones, too, having to kind of juke and jive around a few different defenders, get himself to remain in bounds, and get the extra yards.
Well, on 4th and 1, why not go for it from the 18-yard line of Bethel Park?
And even with the score the way it is, Central Catholic wants to see more of what they have on offense, defense. They want to open up the playbook for both sides of the football. They have not yet been able to do that because they haven't had the football that much with all the turnovers in field position.
Oh, they needed 1, and Ronnie Jones picks up 6.
Ronnie Jones is the ball carrier.
To the 12. Six-yard gain and a first down for Central Catholic.
For a Central Catholic first down. First and 10, Vikings.
6:20 on a rolling third quarter clock. 27-0. Central Catholic leads Bethel Park. And they give it off again to Jones, who sidesteps a man and heads to the near sideline before getting knocked down, picking up 3 in the process.
Jones is the ball carrier.
Giving 2 in the process to the 10. Second down. Pachelski on the stop for Bethel Park. Well, one and only game here at CMU.
2nd and 9 from the 11.
Central Catholic will take their talents to the North Shore.
Highmark Stadium. A beautiful scenery just like we have here at Carnegie Mellon, getting Oakland in the backdrop there. You get the city of Pittsburgh.
Here's a keeper by Navarro, and he will be grabbed by the horse collar. It will be a horse collar penalty here for Bethel Park. Officials very quickly on that one.
These officials have not missed a beat. We've had both of these two teams kind of shaking rust off. We're shaking rust off in the broadcast booth, but these officials have not missed a beat. They've gone through their own training camp, and they seem like they're in playoff mode.
And we're the only ones who don't get a preseason.
I know, it's just not fair. Nobody cares about the press box. Nobody cares about the media. It's just not fair.
They call it a face mask, not the horse collar. So
automatic first down.
Either way, it's the same penalty yardage.
It is the same penalty yardage. It's kind of, how do you not know which one it is, though? Your arm would be on an entire other side of your body.
I formation in a first down and goal, and they fake it. They give it off to the fullback, and he's into the end zone.
Goes to number 46.
It is 46
for the Central
Alex Porco's first carry of 2014 is a Central Catholic touchdown from 3 yards away.
It's game 1. Your first carry is a touchdown, and it's Pittsburgh Central Catholic. That's kind of been the theme here today. Once again, having to finally put an entire drive together because they have not had to do that yet off of turnovers. This is an entire drive on the ground, getting themselves in the end zone for Pittsburgh Central Catholic.
Mitch Maxura's kick is through the pipes. It's good. 5:21 in the third. Central is rolling. Roll Vikes 34-0 over Bethel Park. And our coverage of Pittsburgh Central Catholic Viking football here on the Champ Sports Network, as the Vikings have just continued to really started where they left off in the second half here. A really impressive effort here by the defense of Central Catholic has really set up again. That's another drive, Mike.
We just can't get over the defense.
No, that's another drive that started on the Bethel Park side of the 50-yard line.
On the yellow
that was a drive that was roll Vikes, but every single drive that's roll Vikes and rolls into the end zone is off of the defense. The defense has won this game. Special teams has won this game. This defense, you say Central Catholic is tops of your power rankings for Quad A. The defense might be top of your power rankings for all the WPIAL. This defense is more than I even expected it to be, more than it even was last year. And they were hard-hitting last year, but this defense starts you at the point of contact, the point when you touch the football, and causes turnovers. They're trying to force the turnover. That is their first mentality. And when you have a defense like that is strong and muscular and can do it against the run or the pass, that becomes a dangerous defense.
Here's a kickoff, did not go in the end zone, so a return opportunity a rare opportunity for Bethel Park to return this one.
You sound disappointed.
Pryor gets it up to the 23-yard line, and that's where Bethel will take it over, 1st and 10. And now for Mike Matheny, it's really a preach of what we talked about at the break or right before the break, Mike, which is this doesn't really mean anything for Bethel Park. They could go into the section play next week and really try to start anew, but between now and then, they need to work on some things offensively, and this is an opportunity to do that. This is invaluable time to see what you can do here for the next quarter and a half.
Yeah, you chalk this one up as a loss, but there's still a lot to be learned from the rest of this game for Bethel Park.
Matheny completes it to Charlie Davis. Davis on the swing pass is going to get tracked down by Glover for no gain of the play. So 2nd down and 10 coming up. Glover all over the field.
Down by 30, Brian Glover.
Central point away from the mercy roll.
Gain on the play, 2nd and 9.
And if I'm not mistaken, Mike, Central went into week, was it 4? Week 4, they went 3 weeks without allowing a touchdown last year.
Yeah, they had an opening streak last year. Well, unlike this season, they were playing incredible on offense, incredible on defense, and actually they had kind of a middle of the season stretch where then there was some doubt. Can this team really win a championship? They weren't moving the football. Listabrinza got injured. They were allowing more points. You had the North Allegheny game. It was about revenge more than it was on the field. They kind of had their minds off of the goal. They ended up being able to regroup, and they won the championship for Quad A. This year, they're starting off where they were in the middle of last season, at the beginning of the season, but still getting a win because of how their opponent played. Again, you put this against one of those Woodland Hills, Upper St. Clair, North Allegheny, they may not win this game. They have a lot more to improve at the beginning of the season than they did last year.
3rd down and 9. Rolling out is Matheny. Steps up, will throw. He's coming back to the football right at the sticks. Christopher Papelia. And how about that? Knowing where the sticks are, Papelia hauling in the pass at the 35-yard line and getting a Bethel Park 1st down.
And a smart play by the wide receiver. And this is the offense that they need to have with Matheny. When you have a quarterback that can roll out, that does not have a cannon for an arm but can be accurate, use the offensive they used at the end of the first half. Short passes, a West Coast offense, curl routes, use the tight end, try to get 5 to 10 yards every pass. I don't care if it takes 10 minutes, get down the field. I'm not going to win this game doing that, but it might win them some games throughout this season.
Well, Levi Matheny, just a junior at 6'1", 192, still a bright future ahead. Play action, Glover Almost got him, and now he did. He finished the job. Brian Glover.
Down in the backfield.
And gives Matheny a tap on the helmet.
Brian Glover.
And Glover has just been spectacular tonight for the Central Catholic defense. And some
even when he doesn't get his hands on the football, he's caused some of those turnovers. He's the player you got to watch defensively if you're the quarterback of the opponent. And what Matheny's not been able to really watch is where Glover's been. Glover always eyeing up the quarterback and just causing him to sweat there in the pocket.
Flag is down.
It's been a while since I've been to this stadium here at CMU, but this really, for a lower level college, this is really in a tremendous atmosphere.
Yes.
You have a packed house here. You have people watching from a restaurant underneath a dorm. Maybe that's the type of building there. But flat screens, all these lights beaming down. It looks like a new turf down on the field. So for the level they're in, this is absolutely top notch of a field and a facility for Carnegie Mellon.
And want to thank Carnegie Mellon for the hospitality as always. His draw play that does not fool Central Catholic whatsoever. And this time on the stop for Central, David Adams.
Hit by number 32.
And if you can't, because of scheduling, get all your games at Highmark, what better to go to Carnegie Mellon where you can have your team walk in Oakland from Pittsburgh Central Catholic campus to the campus of Carnegie Mellon University. They played a lot of games here when I was a student at Central Catholic. They also played some games at Duquesne University, but Carnegie Mellon was almost their de facto home field when I was a student.
Talking about Brian Glover as we get set for a third down and 20 for Bethel. And there's a slant route, too tall for his intended receiver,
number 15,
McKelsick.
Max Michalski is incomplete.
And it will be fourth down for the Blackhawks. Some scores from around the, score update from around the WPIAL. Gateway, in their first year in AAA, their first game in AAA, tied with Greensburg-Salem at 6. And here is a loose football that Central Catholic on for a blocked punt that's going to be recovered.
Papalia's punt blocked by number 51, Brian
Totten of Pittsburgh Central Catholic. And the Vikings are going to get great field position again, finishing the thought. Greensburg-Salem and Gateway tied at 6, headed to overtime. So Gateway's first game going to overtime in AAA.
And a shocker for Gateway to be struggling in their first game in a demotion of sorts to AAA after they were, just like Pittsburgh Central Catholic, a staple of Quad A. I remember Heinz Field, playoff games, Central Catholic, Gateway, and the history of what Gateway was with King and company, and unfortunately having to go to AAA, but now struggling there. It's really been a dark day for that football program, and they want to turn that around.
Handoff, Ronnie Jones, and then coming in,
the ball carrier,
Chandler Dietz on the stop for Bethel Park. Gain of 2, second down and 8 from the 28.
And I know that was much controversy this offseason about Gateway going to AAA and losing the history. Talent-wise, maybe that's where they should be this year, but losing the history of Gateway, they were one of the powers of Quad A not even a decade ago. It was not that long ago before they were the favorite and they were competing for WPIAL championships.
Rolling out. In trouble is Navarro, and he's sat down at the 35-yard line, sacked
by number 10,
by Jacob Dixon, the junior. And it will be third down at 15.
And you do think of Gateway as a bigger district for students, but not the same as it was.
Yeah, the last time they were in AAA was when AAA was the highest classification in the WPIAL.
Yeah, Gateway is one of those schools that just the casual fan would think of when they think of Quad A schools, and
third quarter,
not anymore.
Score, Central
not
Catholic
anymore.
Vikings 34.
But we got a Quad A matchup here at CMU. And Pittsburgh Central Catholic They are rolling in week 1, 34-0. After 3, the final chapter from CMU's Guest League Stadium when we come back here on the Champ Sports Network.
It's never too early to get ready for the Viking Youth Field Turf.
Finally,
Log on to CentralCatholicFootball.com to print out an application form and for more information.
For schedules, directions to games, and weekly highlights of every game.
Back to CMU, if you never left. I don't think some of you might have never left with our friend, the public address announcer. Back with Mike Asti, Matt Fargo, our entire Champ Sports Network crew with you. And a 34-0 lead for Central. And they try to add to that as they give it off to Ronnie Jones. And on 3rd down, he's bottled up at the 33-yard line.
Ronnie Jones
and I think we're going to get to see Magzura. The question is he going to try a long field goal or are they going to punt? Magzura can boot it. He has a leg.
Stood up by number 10, Jacob Dixon, 4, Chris Papalia, and 40, Lucas Fondelier.
And even with this game decided, you are still seeing most of this house here at Carnegie Mellon is staying at this stadium, is watching to the end. They're probably excited to just have high school football back in general.
This will be a 50-yard attempt for Mitch Magzura, and they're going to take a timeout. The play clock was down to 6.
In to attempt the field goal. Timeout, Central Catholic.
So Mitch Magzura on to attempt a 50-yard field goal, and he's capable. He's more than capable.
We heard that from a video guy from Bethel Park in this same press box that was yelling field goal, field goal, field goal. They were expecting field goal. I guess they want to see his leg. He does have the leg and the strength to do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a set of lost car keys in the press box.
Well, there's one fan that definitely didn't go home. Set of lost car keys, unless they're going to walk like Central Catholic does to their campus.
Come to the press box to claim them.
And they can't get on the Central bus because Central walks.
Right.
And I don't think you want to go to Bethel Park if you're a Central fan, most likely not living.
I don't know if Bethel let them get on.
Maybe, although maybe you could, because Central Catholic does bring students from all over WPIAL. It is a Catholic school.
Seneca Valley 0. Pine Richland 35, Shaler 0.
All right, here we go. 50 yards for Mitchell Magzura. From the hold of Patrician. Snap is perfect. The hold is good. The kick is going to be short.
Just didn't have the leg, but it had
the accuracy. It just did not have the, as you mentioned, leg, Mike. And he gets a rousing applause from the fans and gets some high fives coming back. I mean, that's not.
It's a 50-yard field goal. Yeah. If he would have made that, that's going to go on the highlight reel, even in a loss.
Right. So Bethel Park will take over. They get the ball at the 20-yard line.
And if he would have made that field goal, he has a recruiting offer immediately, because there's some colleges that can't get 50 yards.
And he's already getting some looks and some.
And locally, I'm talking Pitt, Penn State, WVU. They can't kick 50-yard field goals. Any of the. So I mean, locally, he could have a team.
Handoff there, bottled up. Host of blue jerseys in on the stop, and you know what? We were talking about the jerseys earlier, and as a broadcaster, and you can, I'm sure, agree with this, throughout the season we're going to struggle with some jerseys, but I'd like to congratulate the athletic directors and the jersey deciders for both Bethel Park and Pittsburgh Central Catholic on making their numbers visible from farther than 50 feet away.
When you have white on blue or white on dark blue or black on white, you're going to be able to see those jerseys. Right. No more of the lime green, the green on green, or the yellow on yellow some teams like to use.
Yeah. Here's Matheny throwing, intercepted, picked off. It is Brian Gardner who is down to the 6-yard line and make it 4 times the Central defense has put the Central offense inside the Bethel Park 10. 4 times.
Another turnover and another mistake by Bethel Park. They are giving the game to Central Catholic, and Central Catholic capitalizing off of those turnovers, and not even just getting the turnover, but getting yards after the catch. And these aren't even all fumbles. There was one fumble, but mostly have been interceptions right to the defender, either on a curl route, as you see him beat the wide receiver there, or from the defensive line on a tip pass, right to these defenders with wide open space in front of them.
Central quickly back to work with the first down and goal from the 6. They give it off.
They only get 5 to the top.
And
Brian Totten on the
Totten
carry.
on the fullback dive. Gets it to the 1.
Gain of 5.
Well, that's where they can do business,
Right.
from the 1 yard line. Then the next play will be a 4 touchdown.
Right.
Foster with all his 1 yard touchdowns and one by Jones.
Jones and Totten in the backfield on the offset eye. As Navarro from under center. They'll give it off to Jones, and he is into the end zone. Touchdown, Pittsburgh Central Catholic. Jones from 1 for 6.
Touchdown.
The Central Catholic 5th touchdown that's come from within 5 yards from the end zone. My goodness.
It's week 1, and I truly believe, and you can play this tape in week 9 in the playoffs, that we've already seen something we're not going to see the rest of the season. I don't think the rest of the season we're going to see a game where a team goes 5 touchdowns from the 1 yard line or has less than 50 yards of total offense yet get 40 points because of their special teams and because of the turnovers. Or even a 50-yard field goal attempt, maybe.
Point is good.
How about the punt? The punt down to the 4?
Down to the 4, we've already seen the punt of the year. And we've seen 2 teams that both have a lot to improve on, but we've seen memorable occurrences in just week 1, and mostly lopsided for Pittsburgh Central Catholic, now leading 41-0.
With the Mitch Maxura extra point, which was good. 9:22 to play in regulation. And we'll be seeing a running clock for the duration of this one. And this is something you were very used to last year, Mike.
I think, what was it, a 7-week stretch where I had the running clock? I did have a broadcast where a different game each week, but always in a running clock. So I saw a lot of wins and a lot of beatdowns in the beginning of my season, including some games for Pittsburgh Central Catholic. And they get that this year, even with their struggles. This team was not playing like they did last year when they were blowing teams out, but this year they're still getting the 41-0 because maybe their defense is even better than 2004. The 2004 defense at the Honor was one of the best teams in state history that went undefeated and won a state championship. They kind of were led by their defense, even with Eugene Jarvis, like they were with Lista Brinza and Redmond last year. All defense, some running that scored their points. This year, now, again,
Davis, Pryor, and
mostly thanks to the defense, special teams, and some yardage on the ground. That's what they're going to be doing throughout the season.
Kickoff into the end zone, touchback. 9:22 to play. Bethel Park, again, just this is an opportunity maybe for some of the younger guys to get opportunities.
For a touchback, the Blackhawks take over 1st and 10 from their own 20.
Next week, Central Catholic will head to take on the Shaler area Titans. Update in Quad A action. North Allegheny drawing first blood late on Seneca Valley 7-0. North Allegheny has a really tough opening start. They have Seneca Valley, Pine Richland, and Central Catholic in the first 3 weeks of the year.
I don't think Coach Art Walker, though, will make any excuses. Former coach of Pittsburgh Central Catholic coached those kids that were being honored on the field from the 2014 here for Central Catholic, but he's won some state championship with North Allegheny too, built his resume and his Hall of Fame clout mostly at North Allegheny, and he's not going to make any excuses, and once again he's going to expect a championship or bust season for North Allegheny.
Shane
Kind of disappointed off of last year.
Gain of 7. 2nd and 3 from the 27.
New quarterback in for Bethel Park. They hand it off to 23. That's Teron Murphy.
Teron Murphy on the carry, brought down by Matt Miles.
Miles in on the stop.
Gain of 2.
Both teams getting some youth out there, and it's one of the fun times to watch football. A lot of people don't enjoy this, but this is the part where you can find a diamond in the rough.
You want to lure in the listeners. Don't turn off your Don't turn off your radio. Don't turn off your app or your internet access.
John Delano, the freshman running back, carrying it forward and about a yard short of the first down. And here's a mass. How about that?
Matt Miles and Jermaine
It's a line
Stevens.
shift.
Well, it's a special team shift as they're going to bring out the punt unit. That was a complete line change.
4th and 1 from the 29.
Punting Papalia, getting that one off, and it's caught on the run. A nice tackle from behind. They gave an opportunity to Braxton Swan to field the punt, the junior.
Number 2, Charlie Davis. The Vikings take over. 1st and 10 at their 44-yard line.
And now we're going to see the third Central Catholic quarterback of the night, Eddie Finderhurt.
Well, if you're Central coaches, you're telling your team the same that Bethel Park coaches are telling them their B team is, hey,
Eddie
now you're on the field. This is your time to shine. Scouts are watching. Play football. Enjoy it.
So Eddie Fedihurt. All name team selection. Fedihurt is a 6'2 sophomore as we get a timeout taken here.
Is the all-name team also run by Charlie Batch, or is that just for the best?
Well, Fedihurt is also wearing 16, so
yeah, it's fitting.
Which was J.J. Constantino's number last year,
and the incomparable Charlie Batch's number.
Absolutely. And someone's mentioned to me, why isn't the best of the batch 16 players? Well, the problem with that would be it wouldn't make up a team. So I understand.
So you're being stickler to the rules.
If his number was 24, it would be great.
Well, that would have not been allowed.
Right. It wouldn't have been allowed. But
in Canada, he could have, or in college, but not into the pros.
First and 10 Vikings from their own 44.
First down at 10 from the 44-yard line.
Quarterback for the Vikings.
And here's our first look at the sophomore. And he'll hand it off to the right side and getting slung down. A new ball carrier is 39.
Younger, the ball carrier.
That is J.J. Younger. And J.J. is younger. He's a sophomore at 160.
And this is
not resist, Mike.
Central roster. I'm going to try to gloss over. And this is a Central roster that, even though they have many players returning from the championship team of a season ago and they're veterans, they also are young. They have juniors, sophomores. They're going to be back again next year as another favorite.
Tim Schneider, the ball carrier.
It was Tim Schneider, 65.
And Chandler Dietz.
And Schneider is a senior.
3rd and 10 from the 44. So I tell you how young they are and what they're going to do next year, and then you read about a senior. Killing me here.
Hey, it's what I do. 3rd down and 10 now, and they give it back off to Younger, and Younger picks up the 50-yard line and will be about
J.J. Younger on the
4 yards shy of the first down, so the punt unit will be out.
Down by Brandon Johnson.
And I tell you, Mitchell Maxura has been a busy guy for Pittsburgh Central Catholic.
Gain of
punting the
6.
football.
4th and 4.
Punting,
from
kicking.
midfield for the Vikings.
Extra points. He's been all over the field.
Maxura to
As much
kick.
as they need to practice on offense, I think the special team could get the week off.
Teron Murphy deep
yeah.
for
Because
the Blackhawks.
they've done nothing to be ashamed of here. It's field position. It's setting the punts to the 4-yard line for the opponent. It's almost returning kicks and punts for touchdowns, and it's turnovers that lead to scores.
And another one that Maxura is going to get credit for inside the 20 as Murphy is quickly brought down by Hamlin. And Bethel Park's offense will come back out onto the field. Under 5 minutes to play here in the fourth quarter. 41-0. Pittsburgh Central Catholic leads
1st and 10
Bethel Park.
from the 19.
And the Central Catholic Vikings are off to, from a scoreboard standpoint, everyone expecting this, but really, and we're going to get to talk about this post game, but you look deep, you look into the stat column here, it's just mind-boggling. It's confusing to the point.
This is one of those games where if you're just browsing, if you're a busy Friday night and you just check the score, you don't know what happened. You legitimately need to read into the stats. You need to kind of analyze this game.
Watch this game on Monday on the Champ Sports Network.
We're giving you that opportunity then on Monday for the video broadcast.
How about reversing field for Bethel Park is 23, Teron Murphy, and Murphy ran about 25 yards to pick up 2 as he gets it up to the 21-yard line.
Teron Murphy.
But Central Catholic spent an entire first half not being able to move the football. They spent the entire first half going 0-4 passing with no connection to the wide receiver, no chemistry there, and they're a team that said, and we said in the pregame, we want to open up the playbook, we want to be more of a passing offense than we were with J.J. Constantino. They have not been. It's still been on the ground. It's been off of turnovers. Maybe other teams aren't going to make these mistakes and make these turnovers, penalties, interceptions, and fumbles. They capitalize on them. You give them credit there, but they've also got assists from Bethel Park in order to win this game and get points.
So they get up to the 24 on the carry there, Bethel Park. That was
Joseph Weston on the carry.
And I'll tell you, knowing the players, knowing the coaching staff, and just knowing what Central Catholic's all about, the first people to tell you Central Catholic did not play A-plus football and that they're ashamed of a game they win 41-0 will be the players, will be the coaches. They will be in unison, knowing they need to practice this week and knowing this effort will not repeat as the WPIAL Quad A champion.
Play action and rolling out to the right side. Going to throw short of his intended receiver. Quarterback now for Bethel Park is a sophomore, Cole Rogers, at 5'7", 190.
And almost intercepted. The corner once again got over top of the wide receiver on a curl route, tried to dive for it, tipped it, could not intercept the pass, but almost another turnover, which would have led to field position and potentially a score for Pittsburgh Central Catholic.
Swan in on coverage there. He was the one almost able to pick that one off.
Did you ever think there'd be a team that you could argue is almost disgusted in a performance in which they win 41-0, and you're not going to be disgusted in the defense, but you're disgusted in part of your team that wins 41-0? It's really mind-boggling.
Yeah, I don't know if disgusted is the word per se, but it's definitely a disappointment or a
they weren't even really able to be disgusted because their offense never able to get it together. They didn't have the football enough. You either get an interception or a turnover. You could argue they didn't even have a chance really.
Right. I think you can argue that because look at where their field position was starting from. I mean, you're starting drives at the 1-1, 4, 5, 6.
And then you started at the 30, and then they later on they get the punt, but then they later on give you the interception.
Right. So I mean,
you're not going to say no. I'd rather go 80 yards than this 1 yard.
Right. So in a lot of ways that we've said that Bethel Park has given Central some chances. I think Central has also taken a lot of opportunities. They have, and you need to give them credit for taking credit
and taking advantage of those changes. Other teams might not have done that. That's part of the game.
And Ferdyhurt has taken a knee, and as
maybe needs one more knee, though.
Yeah, he's going to need at least he's going to need a couple of them.
We're turning over the football on downs, maybe, because 3 more knees, they would lose possession.
2nd and 11 for the Vikings.
That probably should have been one more run play and then 2 knees. That would have ran out the game clock with 1:06. I don't know if it will.
Down under a minute here, and Pittsburgh Central Catholic improving their WPIAL streak.
Third down and
here
13
tonight
for the Vikings.
And just like for Central Catholic, for Bethel Park,
yard line.
they can kind of say, hey, we didn't have an opportunity in offense either because we turned over the football and we made the mistakes. It's our fault, but we have also a lot to improve on, and there's kind of still a question mark on what we can do. The future opponents of both these two teams can kind of say, offensively at least, we don't know. They either turned over the football or they didn't get the football for an entire field because they started at the 1 yard line. We just don't know what those offenses can do just yet.
Clock will take it down from 10, and that's your football game. Your final score, the Pittsburgh Central Catholic Vikings improved to 1-0 in the 2014 campaign with a 41-0 win over the Bethel Park Blackhawks in the Week 1 opener, a non-section victory, but boy, there is what an intriguing matchup. Something where we've kind of said it for the last, half a quarter to kind of reminisce about this one, but unbelievable that such a dominating performance defensively and special teams wise that Central's offense really didn't need to get going. And I guess in a lot of ways you put a team in a position like that where we're talking about possession and possession. We really don't know yet. I think the jury's still out on what to expect from the offense of Central Catholic. I really don't think you should take this game and this performance with all of that much importance. Obviously, there's some things to work on offensively, and obviously one of the biggest questions going into next week in Shaler is, are you going to have Gunnar Farrat at quarterback, whether that be injury prone or something else? And then if so, making whoever, Michael Navarro, you'd have to assume would be next in line. If that is the case, making him comfortable. But overall, I don't think you should take the offensive performance as much. I think really what needs to be the headline story tonight is the way that the defense has dominated in really unbelievable proportions here tonight with what they were able to do turnover-wise, what they were able to, Bethel didn't have the ball on the Central side of the 50-yard line twice.
Well, Central Catholic wins at 41-0. They rolled to that 41-0 win, but as you said, it was on the heels of the defense, an all-world effort from the defense. What was it, 4 turnovers, 1 fumble, 3 interceptions, leading to defensive scores, getting yards after the interception, yards after the turnover, extending those plays, then giving it to the offense on the 1, 2, 3 yard line, making their scoring as easy as it can be. And even on the special teams, getting punts to pin the opponent, to pin Bethel Park on their own 4 yard line, with an already struggling offense that mostly goes on the ground. Then getting returns from a punt to, or even the opening kickoff, to almost midfield and setting yourself up. Central Catholic wins field position. They win turnovers, and they make almost no mistakes that you could point to and say, hey, that was a stupid mistake, whereas Bethel Park makes an abundance of those. Central Catholic earned and deserved a rolling 41-0 win. But there is a lot to work on. It mostly is a question mark on offense, and if I'm a defensive coordinator, or if I'm a head coach for a future opponent for Shaler next week, as you talked about, I don't know what I can get from the Central Catholic offense. If it's Farrat, if it's Navarro, it almost could be a similar offense either way. I don't know if they necessarily have to change much depending on who the quarterback. It might be less deep passes without Gunnar Farrat using his gunning of an arm, but maybe that is a blessing in disguise because maybe it could be less mistakes and less turnovers that could happen in the future. Maybe more of a conventional offense like what won them a title last year. Still a lot in doubt because there wasn't much that could get going. It was a resounding win for Central Catholic, but not thanks to their offense with 41 points. It's an odd win. We may never see a win like this again. It's off of turnovers. It's off of special teams. It's off of all-world effort. And it's off of Central Catholic football. It kind of was what won them a championship a season ago that could win them games this year. And Central Catholic is going to put the work in. They know this effort might not win them a repeat for another championship. But this is not going to be the best Central Catholic football team you're going to see in 2014 in
It's week one.
It's week one. It's just 16. Week one. And it won't be the best effort from Bethel Park either. They didn't get the football field enough for them. They weren't on there enough. And also the turnovers, you can't figure to make 4 or 5 turnovers a game. They're going to get more, and they're going to be better too.
Yeah, I think if you're Bethel Park, you definitely don't feel like this has been your best effort. They did not have the luck bug on their side at all. I mean, you're talking about 2 unbelievable defensive plays by guys who probably this is the first time they've touched the football since
they might not again the rest of their careers.
They might not, and you're talking about 2 unbelievable defensive plays there. So Jeff Matheny's going to have his guys just fine, getting ready for week 2 once section play begins, as far as that's concerned. But well, on the television side of things, we are going to wrap things up and ride off into the sunset in this one. Radio side, stick around. More post-game to come here from Carnegie Mellon University. But once again, our final score, Pittsburgh Central Catholic, they win it over Bethel Park 41-0. 1-0 on the year. Their next game next week at Shaler. So, for now, for Mike Asti, Jeff Wake, Bill Pinchotti, and our entire Champ Sports Network crew, I'm Matt Fargo saying this has been a presentation of Pittsburgh Central Catholic football right here on the Champ Sports Network, where champions are heard.